Do you want to know how to generate more sales on TikTok Shop and increase the number of views that your videos get on TikTok? Well, today's guest has mastered turning TikTok into a community-driven sales machine. Welcome to the Ecomm Breakthrough Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Hadley. I scaled my own brand from 0 to 8 figures in sales, and now my mission is to take it to over 9 figures. On my journey to 9 figures, I bring you the unfiltered conversations with the smartest minds in e-commerce. Past guests include Kevin King, Michael E. Gerber, author of The E-Myth, and Aaron Cordovez. Today, I am excited to welcome a guest who is truly shaping the future of e-commerce through the power of TikTok. Julia Rubin is the founder and CEO of Amie, a TikTok agency dedicated to helping beauty brands grow and thrive in one of the fastest moving platforms today. Under Julia's leadership, Amie has become both a TikTok marketing partner and a TikTok shop partner, making them one of the go-to agencies for brands that want to convert attention into real revenue. She and her team specialize in creating original and trending content, running highly effective TikTok ad campaigns, and building engaged communities that feel authentic and connected. Her work has truly helped beauty brands not only showcase their products, but also turn TikTok into a true virtual storefront, driving measurable growth. With that introduction, welcome to the show, Julia.
Hi, it's so good to see you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. TikTok is obviously on everybody's mind right now, so having an expert like yourself on the show is always very valuable to the listeners, and I know the listeners are super excited to get to know you and the strategies that you're employing on TikTok as we push into a more social commerce driven world, into a more agentic commerce driven world. Suffice it to say, e-commerce as we know it is going to drastically change over the next 3 to 5 years. And I feel like you are at the forefront of that right now. And I look forward to diving into all things social commerce with you today.
Yeah, TikTok Shop is really taking off. And I think social commerce is the big theme of 2025, and then especially going into 2026. I feel like that's what everybody is working on, talking about, and everyone's favorite brands, whether you see them on TikTok Shop now or not, they're all gearing up right now to make a big push on Shop in 2026.
So with that being said, Julia, you've got a bunch of listeners who already have successful e-commerce brands, whether they're on Shopify or Amazon, but for most of them, TikTok Shop is brand new. You're also having a lot of clients that come to your agency to say, hey, I want to succeed on TikTok Shop. So with that being the question, hey, how do I help my brand scale on TikTok Shop? How do you answer that question?
It's a huge question. And I think brands are often like underprepared for how many facets go into TikTok Shop. So we get this a lot in our consults. TikTok Shop is so new that there's not, I wouldn't say the knowledge is common to have in-house. And so that's why brands right now are outsourcing to an agency, because the knowledge is quite niche. And, you know, to put it bluntly, not a lot of people know what they're doing on Shop. And I think there's this expectation that you turn on your shop and you immediately just get this flood of sales that come in, you know, that you're immediately going to have this $1 million a month revenue channel. And that's just not the case. There's so many facets to Shop. And I think some of them are expected, some of them are unexpected. And Shop really works when all of those things come together. So what we do in consults when we have a client come to us who is just starting out on Shop is one of the first things is to sit down and say, these are the moving parts we need to work on, and we need to work on them all at the same time. So I would say that, you know, every client's Shop strategy is going to be a little bit different depending on the product, the price point, the brand, where they're at in their growth journey. But the advice that I could give every listener and every single brand is that you need these 4 pillars. No matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, you need these 4 pillars to be successful on Shop. And we can dive into those together.
I love it. Well, I look forward to diving into those 4 pillars. So with that being said, Julia, what are the 4 pillars that you need to have on TikTok Shop in order to succeed as a new brand there?
Yeah. So the first one and we call this cleaning house, is shop operations or shop merchandising. So kind of intuitively, right? You're setting up a brand new storefront. It's similar if you were to set up a brand new website. You don't want to put the cart before the horse, right? You're not going to go out and do all these marketing campaigns if your website is not even optimized for a purchase. So everything starts with that foundation of shop operations. The misconception, though, is that shop operations is just connecting your Shopify to your TikTok shop. And it's so much more than that, right? There's a merchandising strategy that's involved. It's how are we bundling? How are we doing TikTok shop exclusives? Are we offering GWPs? What is the promotional strategy, the discount strategy? Even something as seemingly simple as jazzing up your homepage. Just the same way that somebody would land on your D2C site and they would see all kinds of call outs that would compel them to purchase or look further into your shop. Same thing as with TikTok shop. You want to have a really strong homepage that calls out all your most exclusive bundles, your best sellers. So it's so much more than, of course, you want to make sure you don't have violations, but it's so much more than that. Your shop health is really, really important. And it really sets the foundation for the algorithm to pick up on your shop. And it sets the foundation for all the other work we're going to do. But if you really want to go above and beyond, it's even more than shop health. It's making your shop an attractive offering to somebody who lands on it.
Love it. So really, there's a lot that goes into it. And I think those that started their brands on Amazon, they're familiar with that aspect where it's like, what are you doing with your main images? What are you doing with your bullet points, your title? You also have to be, you have to be compliant on Amazon and your account health score on Amazon. And how are you fulfilling everything? So really, like, I love what you said there. It's not necessarily new. It's a new platform, but the role that's required to kind of like get it established is very similar to what you probably already had on Amazon, maybe a Shopify, but like a Walmart as well. It's just kind of like general ops and merchandising strategy. So I would say, tell me if I'm wrong, I think this is one where you could go grab somebody that did a good job over at Amazon merchandising strategy, account ops, and almost bring them in here and say, hey, we're going to figure this one out too. It's just a new marketplace, but apply a lot of those same best principles and practices over there, but now to TikTok. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. I think the knowledge is quite similar, and it's the same thing. It's optimizing your product page. It's making sure that the algorithm is picking up on your listing. I would say the other important thing here that we've noticed is, so we work with beauty brands, and beauty brands, as you know, have a lot of shades of one product. And a mistake that we see often in shop operations that affects the outcome is they'll make a different listing for every single shade. And it's really hard for us to drive all the traffic to one listing, which is what we want to do because we want the algorithm to look at that listing and say, this, for whatever reason, is a really popular listing, and we want to serve it to the TikTok users. Now, if you have every single shade or every single iteration in a different listing, the problem is you're fracturing that traffic. So that's another thing that we want to do is we want to put different variations on, and I think this is very common on Amazon, which is why I bring it up. You want to take those different variations and put it on one listing to make sure that you have the most favorable chance with the algorithm that's possible. And you want to also minimize your catalog on TikTok Shop, and you want it to feel more like a curation. And I think that's the other mistake is brands will put the whole catalog on when they start shop. And it's oftentimes more advantageous to just choose, we say maybe 3 to 5 and maybe, really lean into 2 to 3 hero products and really make it feel curated, but focusing more on the offer, like those bundles, the GWP, the TikTok Shop exclusive shades, the early launches, rather than just putting your whole catalog on shop and crossing your fingers and hoping for the best.
Talk to me a little bit more. You mentioned, you threw out some words. So GWP, let's talk about what that is. Let's also talk about bundle strategy. Let's also talk about like TikTok exclusives or early launches. So talk to me about maybe there's a brand that they're already successful on Amazon. but they want to come over here to TikTok shop. How do you recommend they bridge that gap of new platform, but TikTok wants its own uniqueness and originality? So talk to me about like best practices, bundles, exclusives, etc.
Yeah, and this is really top of mind for us because we work with beauty brands at Sephora and Ulta, and in particular, those beauty brands are quite discount shy, and you know they would rather drive value in other ways. And so bundles and GWP, which is gift with purchase, is a tool that we leverage instead of being so discount driven, because a lot of these beauty brands, they want to hold on to this sort of prestige and they don't want that to be chipped away by the discounts and the pricing. So just offering extra added value. So we might bundle two bestsellers together to increase the AOV. We might launch an exclusive shade of something on TikTok shop. We might launch a new product early, just even by a couple of days on TikTok shop. GWP is really popular if you can do, I mean, in our case with beauty brands, it could be a piece of merch like a makeup pouch. It could also be a mini travel size or a sample so that they get it and it compels them to buy something else and continue on that journey with the brand. So I think there's a number of ways that we can drive added value while still increasing the AOV, while not necessarily being so discount and promotion heavy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm curious though, if you bundle something together, what once was maybe a $30 product and now you're bundling it two $30 products together, maybe you could offer it for $50. It's a better value now. But how does that impact the customer or the virality of it, right? Because I would argue the higher the price point on TikTok shop, probably the less impulse purchases you're going to get. So how do you kind of navigate that? Do you see any correlation, or maybe I'm just that hypothesizing something that doesn't exist? Are you saying, actually, no, the bundles work great, even though it's $50 instead of 30 on its own, we're seeing like things take off really quickly?
Well, I think the bundles are great because what brands are then able to do with the bundle is, whereas they couldn't maybe have put a discount on the single SKU, they can put a discount on the bundle. And then the algorithm picks up that this is a on flash sale, this is a discounted product. And I think that's why there's a strategy to that bundle, right? We're not just bundling random things, but we're looking at historically, what are your best sellers on TikTok? What are the most popular products? What are your hero SKUs? And we're strategically bundling those hero SKUs. I would say that bundling is one of those things that it really, we see about a $30 to $50 range is like that sweet spot on TikTok shop. There are brands, and that's why I'm hesitating, there are brands that we've worked with that are higher than that we've made successful. But generally, for most people listening, like, you want to hit in that 30 to 50 range, and that counts with your bundles as well. So your example is great, that if you bundle two things that go to $60 and you can discount to 50, then you are within that price range and you're using a discount that then the algorithm says, you know what, this is a product that we want to push out. Because the TikTok shop user, there's ways around it, but they are to some extent still always primed to get some sort of value or deal off the platform, just like the Amazon customer is.
So do you think that it, as part of your strategy and the merchandising strategy, like implementing flash sales, right, and joining all of TikTok's like sale campaigns is like essential, an essential component of like being able to go viral and get like noticed by the platform?
Yeah, so I think participating in as many promos as possible in the flash sales, of course, is going to help the brand's chances of getting picked up algorithmically. The tricky part is when you in real life have a client who doesn't want to do all the flash sales and promotions. I think that's where it is possible to participate in the promotions and not necessarily discount. So you can sign up and participate, but not necessarily discount, or discount very, very, very small and just take a couple of dollars off. So that's usually what we recommend in that case is, you don't have to go crazy and do a 40% off discount to participate in every promotion. You can sign up and participate for every promotion just to show up and get picked up. but not necessarily give the craziest discount. We can just take a little bit off.
Yeah. Awesome. Makes a lot of sense.